Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Pocket Kings. We're six-handed, 10 NL game, folds to me. I open raise. Pretty standard open raise. Really only have a loose player in big blind position. His fold to steal is only 50%. This guy's fold to steal 63%. I think versus those guys, I'm gonna probably. Well, it just kind of depends on what's been happening. Yeah, it just kind of depends on what's been happening at this table. I might tighten up a little bit, maybe play something closer to this. Now I'd probably throw in the King 9, Queen 9. Maybe not play some of these hands. Just a little bit. So I'm going to go with that range. It folds to big blind, who calls. He's playing 35-15. He has 8% 3-bet range in a button. It's 1 out of 13. Pre-flop, he's called with 2-bet 31%. So we're looking at about 30% call. That's going to be a decent range. Suited aces, suited kings, connectors, gappers, 2 gappers, probably offsuit connectors, your Broadway hands. Not going to be too generous with including the offsuit hands. We have 137, and I bet we don't have a huge number of hands. We'll see what afterwards, what his what the notes might say. So the flop comes down 10-4-2. This doesn't really connect a whole lot, but it's not like we needed it to connect. Hearts draws are out there. We don't have the King of Hearts, so we're gonna be a little bit more aggressive with this. Because he could have the heart draw. If we had a King of Hearts, we do have backdoor potential at that point, and with having a heart, we block some combos of his heart draw. So like all of these suited kings, if we had the King of Hearts, those are all going to be out for him. So villain checks, no big surprise. He does donk, 8%, 1 out of 13. I don't think this is a hand he'd normally donk. I think this is a hand we're going to continue betting a huge chunk of our range and expect him to fold. His fold C-bet in position 67, out of positions 43%. That could be just smaller size. So what are we going to bet here? I think we're betting all of our top pair plus hands. We're going to probably bet all of these middle pairs. Those middle pocket pair cards. Those are going to probably be a bit for bluff value. We've got flush draws, gut shots. We're going to do like 2-card backdoor flush draws. Our overcards are all going to be bluffs here. I don't think we're going to go too crazy here. So I think all of these smaller pairs are probably also going to be calling. So we're looking at like 67, 68%. We do have a lot of these 2-card backdoor flushes that we're betting, and I think that's just gonna be attacking his folding range. He's probably folding a little too much, so we're gonna take advantage of that. Our bet size probably gonna be half pot. We raise it to 3. It kind of makes sense to go 3. We could do like 2.5, a little bit smaller, but I have a suspicion that some people will tend to call a little bit wider. So if we look at him, he's probably calling all of those along with like ace high hands. Is just my guess. So we're going to be throwing in his draws, probably 2-card gut shots. We'll include all of these overcards that he'll call. So we're looking at like 71%. He's going to be folding like 29%. And there's hands that he's going to fold that we want him to fold. The club, we're just kind of building equity. If a club comes and we have those backdoor clubs, we're probably just going to check behind on the turn. Yeah, it improves our equity, but I don't want to bet and then get blown off a hand by a hand like 10 jack or 10-9. There's probably arguments to raise it. So at least some of those flushes we're going to be betting the turn again, but not all. So I do bet half pot. I like that. And I think we've already kind of selected for him. Yep. So then 6 of hearts comes out. And it's not the best hand since we don't have a king. All of those hearts are out there. I still think that when we look at his range here, he now has, the flush is at 12%. Still not a huge percentage of his range. So I do think he's going to be checking everything here for us. And then we have to think about what are we going to attack. So I think we still bet with a flush. I think we still bet with a flush draw. I think we're probably calling here. We're checking behind with our draws, with our flush draws. That means the gut shots and straights as well. I guess we're checking behind with all of those weak flush draws. Our raising range are going to probably be those hands that we kind of miss. So I think we can turn like a weak pair into a bluff here, because it's not really value. I'm gonna say the sets we're checking behind, like all of those, we're gonna probably just check behind. Are we doing all of them? What? Let's see his stats. 137. What's the chance that he's gonna check raise us? He really hasn't check raised us. Okay, so if he hasn't really check raised us, I think we're going to be a little bit more aggressive here instead. So I think we're going to bet top pair plus. Again, we're going to attack. Maybe he has a top pair plus as well. I don't think we're going to be checking or betting all of our 10x's. So I think maybe like king 10, ace 10 are going to be betting, the queen 10, jack 10, and little. I think we're going to check, and we're going to probably be forced to check call those. I think of these other pocket pairs we're going to be checking along with the weak pair. I think we're going to be checking, and that means then we're going to be betting our draws here. Probably not all of them, so I don't really think we're going to be checking that 1 card gut shot. I think we could do a 2 card gut shot. The flushes, probably not all of the weak flush draws either. There's a lot of them here. So like 3s, 5s, 7s. I don't think we're going to be betting those. 10s are sets basically. So I think it's like jacks, basically like the 4th nuts. So we've got the nut, 2nd, 3rd, probably the 4th nuts, those jacks. Or the 10s, 10 of hearts. So I think that's going to be our betting range. And I think that's what we should have. So you can see that I kind of messed up here by checking. I think we probably could get some value. Some value for our hand. So we exclude those top pairs. We are going to add all of those. Get rid of those. Ooh. So we are not doing nut flush. Yeah, let's X these. And I'm sure I probably wasn't playing. I know I didn't play like this. I mean, kings should have been bet. So we do have, we are checking. Here we go. All right, so 65%. We've got a check. 9 of diamonds comes out. Now on that 9 of diamonds, on my checking range, if he bets, we are going to be raising. No, we're going to be calling her straight. I don't think it's going to be worth. Like if we raise, we're only getting called by the heart. So I don't think there's any value to raising. So I think we're calling straights, top pair, maybe the middle pair. Chances are I think I'm just going to fold. Am I going to call with all of the top pair? Yeah, probably. I think that's where we're going to use like 10-5, 10-7, 10-8 to kind of bluff catch. Jack 10, Queen 10. I'm not going to be surprised to see like a 10 Queen, 10 King get, be shown. But I think if he bets, we're going to probably just have to fold all of those. He bets, and I did call. So those are going to be the hands. And overpair fits as well. Fits my range here. Assuming I was going to be checking, but I don't like it. I think we should have bet the turn. Now, what kind of hands is he going to bet? It comes down to his donk potential. So let's see here. Or not his donk. This would be his pro bet. So 0 out of 4. 1 out of 1. So it looks like he is betting if we check the turn. So that means I'm going to say he's probably betting at least a flush. No, flush, straight, sets, 2 pair, top pair, possibly, one of these middle cards or the weak pairs. So if we're looking at that with this top pair, you can see that there's only a few top pair hands that he could bet. And these hands are why I would probably call with the 10 with the weak kickers. So you could see that, based on all these hands that I think he could bet, and it's possible he could bet everything, his entire range here. But we'll see. We'll take a note. So I do call. He shows king. He shows king 7. So he was one of these bluffing hands here. Hands that I didn't expect him to have because, what did he have here? He had absolutely nothing. He called with a king 7 with a 2-card backdoor flush draw. So when we look at this, I'm going to say, well, if he called with a 2-card backdoor flush draw here, I'm going to guess probably something like that. And now, when we've got, that was a 6 of hearts, right? And then 9 of diamonds. Now when we get here, he checks. He's got his entire checking range. And then 9 of diamonds. Oops, let's color code it. So now it becomes a little bit different. Now that we know he can play that, it's yep. There, call 2 bets from blinds range, king 7, king 6 off, 9-7. So maybe our range was a little bit less, but this was kind of interesting because we need to know that he's able to do this. So he call button steal 3 big blind from the big blind with king 7 clubs. Out of position, call 50%, check, bet, and he bet pot, bet 100% on a 10 of clubs, 4 hearts, 2 of hearts, 6 of hearts, 9 of diamonds. Okay, so I think we're going to add a note. bluffing river with probe bet if IP aggressor checks turn. All right, so take that note. Incidentally, I think I made money on this hand by making, I'm going to say accidentally making the correct decision. Because I think if I fire the turn, he's just going to fold. So, you know, I win the pot. I win that 12.9 in the pot had I bet the turn versus checking and letting him bluff the river with the overpair. So that kind of goes back here. He's got all of these hands. If we bet with top pair plus, he's just going to be folding all of those hands, but he's just going to be folding like all of these hands, like all of the no-made hands, all of those backdoor flushes. But if we check behind, now he's going to be betting, probably betting a lot of these. I'm going to guess these pairs, he might have a like showdown value, so he just checks. But had we bet, he's going to fold, 30% of these hands here. And we get some of that money by letting him bluff at it. We didn't know that at the time, so I think my play is okay, minus that turn. I think we should have bet our turn still with our kings. Go for some value. Try to get value from 10x. Get some value from, let's say, queens or jacks. I don't think queens or jacks is going to raise. So if we do face a check raise, I think we can probably fold to the flush. Fold assuming that he has a flush. He doesn't look too aggressive to where we have to worry about him check raising with, let's say, the ace of hearts. All right, hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another one.